got you right
Okay.
there. It was weird not having Ashley. I put everybody out and I was like, Ashley's not here, I might as well shoot everybody down one.
I don't know why I'm on the end though.
You know, they usually put the kids in trouble at the
That's
end
what I
towards
figured.
Ron,
Let's
because he'll
separate
cause
by
trouble
one
too.
chair.
I didn't know if they wanted to put me further away from the microphone. I was like, that's probably a good idea too. How are you? Good, how are you? Good, thank you.
Hello, sir. Made it just in time.
How are you?
Alright, and just as a reminder for those that are here, we do have the HDAC at 7, so we gotta be done here at like 6:30. So we can get upstairs and just ensure no more than 2 of you sit together, so you gotta sit apart, so 2 and 2.
Got it.
Cause Ashley won't be here, so otherwise you should be fine. And we do have an executive that we have to talk about, or executive sessions, we gotta be to that by 6 or 6:10 at the latest, so we're gonna try to keep everything like super on track tonight. And avoid,
Alright, let's call meeting to order.
1 minute, or the last 1 minute.
5 seconds.
5 seconds, there we go. Mine doesn't tell me that. but There we go, alright. Bang that gavel and
Kickstarter. Good evening. I would like to call us to order for the Geauga Public Health meeting, June 26, 2024.
your alarm's still going.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Let's stop it.
It's like somebody's alarm.
It's not me. I promise.
Pressure on you.
So I'll call to order and we'll open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And then with 4 of the members here, I'll declare a quorum. And we'll need certification of the delivery of the official notes of meeting.
I certify the
Adam.
delivery of the official notice of the meetings was accomplished.
And then the next element of business is the motion regarding the meetings of May 22nd, 2024.
Yeah, approval of the minutes.
Approval of the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of May 22nd, 2024.
Second.
So we have Carolyn Breaky moving and Dr. Rude seconding the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions?
So motion's carried.
If the board would so entertain, Miss Linda Berhetti is here from the county commissioner's office. If we would not mind moving her to the forefront of the meeting so that we get sure this does get accomplished and that she can do more exhilarating things with her night, I'm sure.
And I make due note that you are not wanting to linger. You guys asked last time we talked to see floor plans. So
Yes.
the highlighted portion is the one in question that the board would like to repurpose for the Department of ADP. Do you want one of these?
I'm all right, I think.
You kind of know the
space.
space.
Yeah.
I know that you guys are concerned about the issue of rent. I can say that the board has not had a discussion of that as a board, but we have had some one-on-one conversations. And our sense is that there will be a request for some type of rent, but it would be just enough to make us whole. It costs between $3 and $4 a square foot to run this building. So we would be looking in that general area. And of course, it would depend on whichever square footage you guys would be actively using. I know that there was a question asked about what the timing would be if the ADP people were going to be using the lunchroom and the storeroom that Adam has said you don't really need. The timing would be as soon as it could be fitted. And the issue for us is the doors. The doors in this building cost $3,000 a piece because they're fancy electronic card swipe doors. And it takes a couple, 2-3 months to get them. I believe they were ordered last week. So the time frame would be when the doors get here and the changes can be made. It is our intention that the space would be altered as little as possible, so that would have maximum flexibility for the future. As you pointed out, Doctor, when we met, you don't know what your future needs are, we don't know what ADP's future needs are, we just know we need it right now, for some period of time. And we had talked about doing some fairly extensive changes to it, but our inclination is, we're not gonna do it, we're gonna keep it pretty much an open space, so that if it should be that things change around at some future time, we wouldn't have a lot to undo, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So,
I think it makes sense. We would just like to always be included in the discussion so that our voice is heard.
absolutely.
I wasn't on the board when this move from the former building to here came, but the feedback I've had is that we had zilch input into
I will
the,
dispute that, based
Okay.
on what I've been told, and you know I wasn't here either.
right.
But I was told that Mr. Quaid was very enthusiastic about being in this building, talked about what he could do to, knew that you were a combined general health district, knew that there would be rent involved, talked about ways to finance that.
Yeah.
I wasn't here.
Right.
I'm just telling you
And
what I was told.
we're all handicapped by the fact that Mr. Quaid isn't here either.
Correct.
And some of those discussions that as we've learned from other times when we've looked in the minutes to see things that we thought were one way and weren't exactly the way they were.
Well, that might not have been in a public meeting either, that might have been a
Exactly.
conversation.
So those conversations occur and then they're passed down as legend, but we don't necessarily actually have anything we can look at and say, oh, this was the tenor, or this was the actual, what was agreed to. So we're all working from a handicap, but my proposal is that we work together as a team moving forward with that understanding that we have our interests that I think are important to our constituency and our board and our budget, and you have your needs and issues that are important to yours, and as long as we both feel respected, I think we can move forward.
Can you make sure I understand what you mean by that? Because I don't want to not,
Right,
Well, we-
so I haven't made a motion, but I'm just trying to get to a better understanding that the past is the past. Moving forward, we would like to make sure that we stay in good communication with each other, from our team to yours and your team to ours, anytime that we're gonna have a discussion about something as significant as space and rent and other stuff.
okay, so is
So-
communicating with Adam not sufficient? Because he and we have had a lot of communication
Well,
over months.
Communicating with Adam is important, but our only ability for us to actually talk as a board is in the public open forum meeting. We can't just go behind closed doors and just meet willy-nilly, or even several of us meet outside this official meeting and talk about stuff,
So your preference would be for us to come and talk to you as a board?
as a board or as a subcommittee of the board when that time is appropriate. And I'm just speaking off the cuff here, but I just am hoping that we can move forward in a way in which we can find mutual agreement through dialogue and discussion free of petty past grievances.
And along those lines, with the constraints we have in time in the HSAC meeting, we appreciate you coming here and communicating with us. And we would like to set up a group and a board meeting discussion with you all to work to get this finalized.
It would be our preference that we do this as one unit, that the issues that we had laid on the table of saying, yes, we respect the fact that this is something that we could see value in moving forward to help you accomplish your goals, but we would like to find some way of doing it as a discussion that includes the issue of finalizing the rent issue as well. Is that
Understood.
possible?
Yes. What I can do is go back and, we're a little bit hampered because the county administrator is gonna be essentially gone for about the next 4 weeks.
Right.
And so I can only do so much as the assistant county administrator, but I can certainly pose to the board the suggestion that they have a discussion in open session. Adam's there every week, you're there pretty much every time as well, just to have input as a member of the board, but as, you know what I'm saying, that you'll be there, you will hear whatever they say.
So that's, as one person on the board and not the president of the board, I can't make policy for the board, but that's sort of where I'm leaning toward thinking, but Carolyn, I'm open to see if you.
I mean, I'm a little
different
confused
take.
why these doors were already ordered, because it was my understanding that the board needed to approve this before the space was given up. Am I misunderstanding that?
Are the doors already ordered?
I think that's what
That's
Mrs.
what
Berhenny
was
said.
just said.
The board, the doors were ordered last week.
Okay, so if the doors were ordered, they're still not gonna come for 3 months, is that
2 to 3
potentially?
months
2 to
is
3
our
months?
understanding, they take a long time to get made.
So I don't know how that decision came to pass either,
Yeah.
but it sounds like they're not gonna be here next week. So do we not have some time that we can meet and hash out some of these issues?
Yeah, I mean, that would be my hope, is if, I mean, my understanding was we needed to approve giving up this space, and that this was not something that unilaterally could happen. So that's why I'm asking why those doors were ordered already. But regardless, I mean, I think we need to have a discussion about the rent, and not just like, hey, we think it's gonna be $3 to $4 a square foot. I mean, I wanna see a contract in front of me before we're giving up the space. Because I mean, we have two things that the commissioners want in this rent discussion. We have the space and we have money, but we don't have very much money.
Right.
So if we just give up the space without this holistic discussion, I mean, we give up like our best bargaining chip.
Right. So
I'll do the best I can to get that on the agenda with the board as soon as
Right.
possible. Would you
Right.
want,
We sh-
if Adam knows about that and tells you, is that letting you know ahead of time
I mean,
enough? or-
I can email a contract to all of you. You really can't respond back to me in terms of anything like,
Right.
yes, I approve, but you could review it,
yeah,
and then we can discuss it.
And should we have a subgroup to have a more direct?
You can have two of you, so in the past, it was Lynn Roman and myself who
Right.
did that. Lynn's obviously gone,
Right.
so
What, do you want to do it, you and I?
that's fine, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, does anyone, do you want one, two? You can't have more than two,
Does
but
anyone else want to work with that?
Not me.
Dr. Root looked to his left real quick. He's like, somebody over there.
Not many can give up.
I didn't think there would be any.
We're all like, not it.
Yeah.
So why don't we organize that
Yeah.
group and then the discussion and
So
meeting?
if you want to do what we did with Lynn Roman last time, where,
We sat and talked.
yeah, we can sit and go over
Kind of
that.
like what we did
Yeah,
in
Right.
Jerry.
yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Let me see what I can do about getting something, because obviously our board has to discuss it as a board, same as you
Right.
do in public. So, let me see if I can get something on the agenda and, see if we can get a definitive sense of where they're going with the rent issue. Once again, it hasn't been discussed publicly, there have been conversations one-on-one, and the sense is there will be something, but in the realm of whatever makes the county whole for what it costs for you to be here.
Yeah.
Utilities, the snow plowing, the custodial, those kinds of things.
I mean, I think that's reasonable, and I mean, what I asked for in the past was just an accounting of those numbers, you know, because it seemed
Oh, I
like,
have those, I can send you. an
yeah,
email.
that $8 square foot, that was just thrown out, and we were asked, like, how'd you come up with this number, and it was kinda like, and it seems, you know, you're saying now it's $3 to $4 a square foot is the actual cost, so I mean, I think I would
Yes.
also be interested. I mean, the other thing I think we need to think about are like, kind of the issues we've had with the building. Number one, access to the building, the generator issue, when the power goes out and we have no air conditioning to the third floor, so we have to send everyone home. I mean, even, you know, I think even part of the contract could be things like, when the commissioners kind of unilaterally make a decision as far as the building being shut down, like such as for a holiday, you know, a day before or after a holiday. I mean, that means we can't be in the building either, and we have to have, you know, we have to have a holiday. So I'd kind of like to see some of those issues laid out in the contract for rent.
And
We can work on that.
we've generally mirrored their holidays for nothing else than ease of, be on the third floor, I can't control who comes in and where they go, and there's no
Right.
sheriff's officer on duty. And they're kind of, I mean, I hate to say door greeter, but the sheriff's officer's the one that, where do I go? And he says, oh, your third floor, left, right, center, whatever. So, yeah, I mean, those would all be discussion points as to how we would function that.
I think Adam is very cognizant of where the pain points have been over the years that we've been in this building, so I trust his ability to bring up those points so that they can be part of the discussion.
Okay,
I have
Okay.
full confidence in the
Yes.
fact that this team can work it out.
once again, is Adam gonna be who I communicate with, and then he would communicate with you? Is that?
Yeah,
how you
I'll
want
send
that to
emails
go?
out, and I can also make sure Dr. Hendricks is available whenever you like to meet.
And then,
I'm sorry?
He should be the point of contact, I believe, and he can get to the board.
Adam should be.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So the big thing is you guys would like to see an actual lease,
Yeah,
ready
or-
to
or
sign.
at least
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
in here.
Yes.
Well, and I'm kind of curious, like, what this is gonna cost too, to add all these doors. I mean, just as a taxpayer, if nothing else.
I think they're gonna put in 4 doors,
So
so
$12,000. If,
And that's it? That's all we're doing?
oh, they're building some walls too, because
That's
the
what I
one, the wall on the far left of it that's marked, I,
Yeah.
that has a wall being put in, so I think it's ADA, so it opens far enough, I think is what somebody told me. Craig or
I'm
yourself.
sorry, what are you referring to?
This one. So I think that wall's being built so it doesn't open up into the stairwell, I think is what somebody told me.
Yes,
It's gotta come
a
back
little
far
bit
enough
of
to
a
be.
wall there, and this is
yeah,
a double door.
That's a double.
There's gonna be a wall built here to keep this
Yeah,
thing
the
separate from
bathrooms
you
and that,
guys.
yeah.
Right.
They will cut through a doorway here, right now that's a wall.
Mhm.
But they are gonna frame for a door, but not put in a door there unless they need it in the future.
Yeah, I don't think we.
Like a card swipe door.
Yeah.
It'll just be an opening for now.
So I don't know, I mean, the doors are 12,000, I don't know what building,
And I do think that
Two walls would
addresses the issue you raised with me today about those doors that if you press them for 15 seconds, they
Correct.
can go through.
yeah,
Please clarify with Glenn that you guys are getting from that what you're looking
okay.
for.
As far as I was told by Glenn, yes, these doors are gonna open outward, not inward. And that was the concern is, for those who don't know, we had someone that walked upstairs, probably a year ago. The door says, hold for 15 seconds, alarm sounds, door opens. She literally just held it down and then walked in our space. And she said, when we talked to her, she goes, well, it says I can. And so we put up employees only sign, do not, granted, she actually read the sign, none of the rest of us did, that it would magically open the door. But, and the alarm is not obnoxiously loud, and if you hit the door on accident, the alarm sounds. Usually someone inadvertently hits it with their shoulder, it goes beep, 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 and it's done. But in this case, the person actually did was walk right through our space. So, luckily we caught it early on, so she wasn't in any HIPAA protected areas.
Okay, so we'll work to
Yeah.
organize the plan, the
Oh.
meetings.
Linda, can you get us some
Discussion
times
and a
or
contract.
dates that we can talk about the lease
Yes.
maybe first, then send it out after Dr. Henderson looks at
Say
it?
that again?
If you can get us some times and dates that maybe, I know Jerry's out for a while, but if you, myself and Dr. Hendrickson can maybe go over a lease, what it would look like, he can at least then have an idea, so when I send it out, at least there's some,
I'm not sure there's much point to that until our board has had
mhm.
a public
Right,
discussion.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
just thinking ahead.
Yeah, whenever you guys are ready.
Thursdays and Fridays are
Yeah.
best days for me.
Yeah, I mean, I know some of you are gonna do it tomorrow, but I think, after the commissioners meet this week or next week, or well, next week or the week after, it's already Wednesday.
Carolyn, if I give you my card, could you please send me an email outlining the things you thought should be included? You
Yeah.
talked about the air conditioning, what about holidays, those kinds of things?
Yeah.
And then I can email back to you the numbers that I have for the costs.
Okay, very good.
I got those from Glenn today. He had given them to
Can
us.
she copy you on
He wanted to
that?
wait a year to see.
I get it from Carolyn.
Do we
And
share
he
with
gave
you?
them to me last year, and then I asked him in preparation for today to give them to me again. So,
There's no other agency in here or group that has a contractor lease or?
yes, there are some. Soil and Water, but I don't know what sort of an agreement they have with us. I was gonna look into that.
I said
And then
the-
we also have something with BMV.
Yeah, if we could have copies of those, I think would be helpful. We can get copies of them.
I will see if I can do that.
Yeah, and that way we can kind of compare what your standard template looks like versus what we may need.
BMV pays a lot.
They're like $16 a
16.
square foot.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Soil and Water pays, I wanna say 14, but the reason for that is that they get 100% reimbursement from the state, so they're
Yeah.
made whole for that,
Appreciate
which
it.
is how that rate was set. That, I don't think that was something we did, I think
Yeah,
that was
no, I
what they
understand.
said. I'll double check, I'm not sure there's anybody else in the building that does pay, rent. Conditioning, days.
I thought aging and JFS,
They pay cost allocation,
R-
it's a
okay.
different process.
okay,
And we do have an outside vendor who works through that whole thing.
okay.
where they calculate. And it's because anybody that gets federal funding by law has to have a cost allocation process and pay for that kind of
So,
stuff,
that makes sense.
so.
Thank you.
All right, so if I hear from you, Carolyn, I'll send you what I have. I'll see if I can get samples of those leases. See if I can get on the agenda for a public discussion of what rent would look like for the board. Because like I said, we've had informal one-on-ones, but they have to make a decision as a board what they're looking for from you guys, so.
Okay.
Excellent.
Nothing would make us
Thank
happier
you.
for this to be settled amicably
Yes.
and in a reasonable time fashion.
I think that that is 100% our wish as well. Board wants to get along, and yes. But they have a lot of competing interests to balance. And sometimes that's where it gets a little sticky. If anybody has any questions, while Jerry's gone, feel free to contact me. I know I'm just number 2, but I can probably get answers for you. Sound good?
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anything more?
Thank you very much.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for letting me come and talk with you today.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
All right, if we
And
want
then
to
we'll
jump
move
back.
on to the Health
Staff
District staff reports.
There's no update for population health unless you have any questions. The environmental health, Dan Lark is not present today, or not available today, so there's not necessarily an update for that one. The 2 new business items, 6.02 and 6.03, Dan would have generally spoken about, and those are to in essence, if a food establishment is a clear danger to the public, those would give the authority to in essence, to Dan Lark and myself and Mr. Graham to be able to shut them down or take action necessary instead of coming to the board. We had one of those recently, and thankfully it was more amicably worked out, but it would have turned into a clear and present danger for the public potentially when we waited till a board meeting occurred. Or schedule an
Right.
emergency board meeting, which is not always ideal because all
Right.
of you do generally work,
Yeah.
and so that's not an ideal thing either.
Especially with public health.
Yeah,
And the accidents are.
And those
usually
photos were
legal.
from that
yes,
incident?
yeah.
Yeah. You all
Uh,
saw the photos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not a common occurrence, but it is something that does occur, and it's one of those things that we want to be able to be mindful of so it doesn't occur in the future too severely.
So we'll address the O2 and O3?
Yeah, the new business. But that's those were what Dan would have spoken about. Population health, the only real update I should have mentioned is that I know the last time we all spoke, there was a
Vaccine.
question about, the clinics with DDC, could UH help? And UH cannot assist. They do not have the staff to assist.
Right.
So we are still stuck with, we don't have ODH support, we don't have, when I say support, no one has enough nurses. And UH just laid off 300 people, is my understanding. So there's just not enough people in general. Those were all like middle management, my understanding. They weren't like nurses or executives, but they're middle management. So no one has the staff right now. That's the problem. So we'll still work with DC the best we can, but we don't have the staff to take on a whole other clinic.
I did email about using volunteer hours through Cleveland Clinic, and you have to have a relationship with that organization, such as like Habitat for Humanity, in order to do that kind of service,
okay.
so.
And we found out that the PTO type of volunteer, the PT, or the VTO, I think is what they call it, volunteer time
Yep.
off. What we found out is generally if they have someone, they will, but nobody will guarantee that person is there.
Right.
And that's the problem we're having is if we have
And
a
you
clinic
can't
with,
really- Can't do that.
with 30 people,
Right,
they have to be there. And that was the general consensus was,
Mm-hmm.
this is hey, I've got somebody on Tuesday, great. And if I don't,
Yeah.
sorry, I don't have
Right.
anybody.
Yeah, it doesn't work for time tied kind of,
Yeah.
services.
Yeah, so unfortunately, that's where we're at with that. We're still gonna work with them the best we can, but I don't have the staff. Nobody else seems to have the staff not to fund this. And even if we wanted to get a nurse from outside, a lot of these nurses are making $80 an hour. So that also is not a feasible solution long-term. So we'll continue to help how we can, but right now, our hands are tied a bit on this. And we
yeah,
are,
another thought that I did have, though, is possibly talking with some of the nursing schools
Yes.
With some of the students that are in the nursing programs?
Yeah, we did reach out to Kent State,
Okay.
went hear back.
And Ursuline?
A lot of that comes down to if they're gonna have, if the preceptor's available, because the preceptor
Okay.
happens to be there.
Yes.
And that's always the tough part, is pulling people out on a guaranteed day every single time, no exceptions. That's
Okay.
the tough part we run into, but we are trying to work with them as well to see if they have anybody that, you know, maybe they have a volunteer preceptor or something like that doesn't mind hanging out for, 4 to 6 to 8 hours
Right.
and helping out. So, that's the population EH. If are there any questions on those two?
Can I ask about the resolution?
Yes.
So it talks about critical violations. Is that a term of art?
No, that's
state code.
state.
State code,
Yeah.
okay. got
There's
it.
a whole form they fill out and it lists critical and
Right, right,
non-critical and yeah,
Okay,
it's a whole
I
state
got you.
thing.
So critical is the worst of the worst?
Yeah,
With
it's,
the rat and the.
And they gotta be
Yeah.
fixed before they leave, or they're basically shut down.
and
Okay,
And just to understand, like, it's not like no one has criticals. People can have criticals and correct them. They can be like a occurrence, like that occurrence happened, and then correct it. We went back multiple times. They're critical and critical and critical. So
Okay.
in this scenario we're talking about.
got it.
If nothing else, the administrator report, the only update I'll have is that Mr. Graham and I will be in Cuyahoga County tomorrow for a meeting for the Emergency Preparedness Grant. So we'll be there most of the day tomorrow, just trying to settle up some stuff with that grant. And then our workforce development grant that we had for, every county got that grant. We're guaranteed it would never go down. It already went down. And so,
2 years into 5
yeah,
years.
so we did switch some staffing around, so there was one person that, we kind of shifted some responsibilities around so that there was that additional, that cost is no longer revenue source for, is now not being incurred. So that's kind of how that worked, and then, in general, most of our time is still being spent on operation and maintenance and other things, and I did talk with Mr. Dimitrio's office today about operation and maintenance and the fees that people are incurring. They are aware of that, and they're looking to see if they can help at all. But obviously, it's not something they can do like today. You can't wave a magic wand to
Yeah.
have those fees go away or anything like that. So we are working on those things, trying to help out, and we are trying to write more grants. We're still working on that. But besides the mosquito grant we got recently, we haven't gotten any additional grants since that, but still, it is one new grant we were able to pull in with some new staff, so.
Okay.
Then the health commissioner.
Not much, thank you. Just the Public Health Accreditation Board requires an annual report. It'll be opened up in July, I believe, and usually has to be submitted by August. You're very aware of the deficit we have as far as services transition, and we've kind of been held harmless probably for the next couple of years, as long as we're working together with Lake to make sure we get back on track. But I'll share that once they show me the target areas and what we have to report on. It could be workforce development training we have to prove, it could be pre-preparedness, the health assessment, those kind of things. UH Hospital is looking to do their update for their health assessment. They call it their community health needs assessment. And we'll be meeting with them on July 3rd to try to see how we can do it most affordably versus spending, $80,000. It'd be good. So typically it's about $40,000 if you do the adult and pediatric population. We've recently only did the adult, but we're trying to get as much of the burden on UH as we can, and we're prepared to, like John, do focus groups, more of the kind of qualitative data versus quantitative, and then pull everything else we can do as cheap as we can. So I'll be back to the board with that. The FIP grant is basically just kind of political. They're putting more and more deliverables that we are unable to achieve, either from a time standpoint or lack of training opportunities. So we're just more of a meeting about pushing back on the state, who oftentimes drops the ball on clarity and changes their deliverables on us. So that's hard. The two grants that are probably easiest to get, we'll be looking at is the Cleveland Foundation. They're kind of shut down over COVID. Their first RFP will be available in August. So we're gonna look at what the priority areas are, talk to their representatives, and then come back with you with a potential program or topic that we want to support that would fit. And the CareSource Foundation is a smaller amount. It's usually under $10,000, but we could use that to supplement a little bit more openly any kind of public health service. So we'll be also applying for that. If we know more, I'll keep you in the loop. Otherwise, I think that's it.
So do we need to go on then to the new business?
Yes, yeah, we won't address old business, we'll go right to new business.
Okay. We'll review the new business now. The 6.0 6.01 resolutions for the financial report resolutions, and also for permission to approve appropriations for increases, decreases. We need a motion for that.
Yes.
Do you have a motion?
And right now, you're just motioning for the financial reports first.
I move to approve the financial reports.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion?
So it looks like the House Bill 110 payments went out, so
Yes.
that's good.
And we have had some members of the public calling in, hey, I got a check in the mail, should I deposit or not?
Yeah,
We're
what is
working through
this?
those.
Okay.
As they come in, if they have any questions, we're going through those with them. But yeah, they're going out.
I wonder if it would make sense to have something on the website to,
We actually did discuss that today.
Yeah.
Because it was, so, as expected, some were a business paid. The current owner is not the previous owner,
yeah.
but it's the business that pays, so the business gets reimbursed.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
they're like, should I cash this, should I not cash this? So we are discussing like an FAQ. There is one on the website, maybe put it more prominent or put it on Facebook relatively soon.
Right, yeah. If
given
people
the
are getting
run
those
out.
checks.
Correct, yeah.
I think that might make sense.
Yes. That one you guys haven't voted on, Dr. Rubin.
But I didn't have
just so
any
you know.
questions about the financials this month, I don't
Hey,
think. Hold on,
nice.
hold on. I
Gosh,
just, that was just
she's
a
gonna
comment.
find one just to,
Oh,
just.
yeah, I'm gonna just ask, just for like sport.
Why is page 2 number page 2? I don't like it.
So that's the
Yep. and then-
101?
Yep. All in favor? This is the
Aye.
financial.
Aye.
Yes,
Any opposed? Abstentions? All right, motion carried.
so this can go.
Yep, that's the one you're about to do right now. So that's, O2.
This is 02?
Yep.
And then this is 60102, permission to approve appropriation for increase, decrease.
So this is to finish up the Parkman well. There was the retainage that was left after we certified the project was 100% completed. This will pay that retainage. And also the Workforce Development Fund, per the state, we had to do a training. And so we provided that training per what the state required. And this is the $10,000 cost of that training, which we split with Lake County, just provide the training together. And a grant paid for it, so it's 100% grant paid for.
I move to approve appropriations for increase, decrease.
And do you have a second?
Second.
And
Any discussion?
discussion?
As a side note to it, was that some of it's curriculum, so it's ongoing for workforce development training versus like a
Yeah.
conference where it's done and then new people come and you're still got nothing to show for it, so that's a good investment, I believe.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried.
and that's this.
That's that one, yes, sir. Next
And are
one.
we doing resolutions 02 and 03?
Yep, should be that one.
This is 02.
That is O2, yeah, 6.02.
And next, on new business is 602, the resolution of the Geauga Public Health Board of Health to authorize the Health Commission to suspend retail food establishment license for violations presenting clear and present danger of food service operation license for an immediate danger of public health without giving notice. Any discussion?
Who are we not giving notice to?
So
The
what
operator?
this is, so normally we have to follow the process to go all the way through the Board of Health on these items. This is gonna give Mr. Graham the permission to, if there's an immediate health,
So no notice to the Board of Health?
We would
well,
notice the board, but we would not have to wait for the board
Okay.
to
Yeah.
convene to have the authority to take action.
yeah.
Okay.
You would, obviously, at the next board meeting, you would all be informed of what occurred,
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
would have to probably revoke a license or do something similar. But
Yeah, it'd be the
Yes.
same day likely that we would let you know what we're doing.
the one, as an example, the one that brought this up that we had the issue recently with, normally you'd just go out and you'd say, hey, you're shut down due to significant health concerns. We don't have that authority here to do that, so we have to wait 30 days, potentially, which is about that was,
Yeah,
to do that, which you'd have a health concern for 30 days.
okay.
It
I just
seems-
wanted to make sure you weren't not giving notice to the establishment or.
No, we would
So-
still go through the process, and at that point,
Yeah.
they would know from the inspection reports that they have serious deficiencies.
Okay.
Yeah,
This is
before our
not,
staff left the, grounds.
Yeah.
property.
yeah. And since I've been here, like, we're talking like one or two that have had this issue. And usually we go out there, like Mr. Lark or myself, and we say, hey, you gotta correct this today or it's going to the Board of Health, and it's corrected within a day or two.
Yeah.
This was one where it was not corrected for weeks, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, most times it's still a voluntary shutdown, they'll have to do renovations or something to have
Yeah.
time to correct it.
Yeah. And also, I tell you, until Dr. Henderson, when he asked, this one may be shut down from the fire department anyways for code violations. So it may not, they're clear on us because they have corrected what we asked them to, but there's other issues anyways.
Okay.
So, yeah,
It
it's not
seem-
taken lightly.
It seems logical and in the public health interest that this authority be granted because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it's
Right.
the best practice, available through some of the.
And obviously, to ensure you guys hold the ultimate power, if something was done inappropriately, you could always retract that authority.
Yeah, right.
You could always say, hey, you're no longer authorized due to concerns we have. So it's not you're permanently giving this out, and there's no option to go back.
Great.
So when would the board be notified, though, if that were?
So I would probably send an email out to you guys like
Okay.
immediately,
That-
kind of like the one that happened. I
Right.
sent an email out where you obviously couldn't respond, but I
Right.
sent out saying, hey, we're dealing with this immediately.
Okay.
It's a public health concern. You may hear about it, so,
Okay.
yeah, you guys would know immediately about that.
And that was the email with the photos.
Correct.
Right.
Sir.
Yeah, it'd usually be same day or
Yeah.
next day.
So motion to approve?
You'll need, a first, a second, and then,
A motion to approve?
I move that the board vote in favor of resolution of the Geauga Public Health Board of Health to authorize the health commissioner to suspend a retail food establishment license for violations representing a clear and present danger, or food service operation license for an immediate danger to public health without giving notice.
I second.
And second?
this
Those in
will
favor?
be a roll call. This
A
resolution.
roll call?
Mrs.
Yes.
Brackey?
Yes.
Oops, sorry. Opposite way. Ms. Bowden? Sorry.
Yes.
It's Dr. Rude.
Yes.
Gosh, Dr. Henderson.
Yes.
So embarrassing.
I don't do it on purpose either. It's not like I actually do this on purpose.
And this is 603.
Yes.
And next is 603, which is a resolution of Geauga Public Health Board of Health to delegate authority to initiate license suspension or revocation of retail food establishment license or food service operation license for violations including failure to maintain sanitary conditions.
Yeah. So this goes along with the other one. This starts the revocation process for their license if it so needs to happen. It still goes to you because the board will have to take action to finalize the revocal of it. And I think it's a 15-day notice run off the top of my head, I want to say. It's for them to fix it. And this could be as simple as they just don't pay their license. They're
Okay, so-
operating, they don't license.
So what we just approved was suspend it, and this would be to revoke.
To revoke,
From
yeah.
revoke.
If it gets that far, now that would be
Yeah,
I would
so
imagine
the
we-
process, legal
yeah.
was involved, and then they get a blessing, make sure everything's good.
it's very rare. I mean, I honestly
But-
can't think of the time we revoke it.
Yeah, usually they revoke the liquor license before even the food.
Yeah.
Okay.
if they
I
have-
mean, I'm trying to think why you would need to emergency revoke a license rather than just emergency suspend a license.
This is just to start the process too, because we have to give them a
Okay.
15-day notice. They then have a 15-day appeal notice, and then,
Okay.
so it would take 30
Over 30
days,
days plus
even from when we
actually.
started.
I see.
For
So
you
it'd
guys
be
to
a while
then-
till we
Yeah.
have a meeting.
Yeah.
But the
Okay.
suspension, they cease,
Suspension we could do immediately.
Immediately.
right, it's immediate
Yeah.
suspension of their activity.
Right.
Right.
The,
Takes
the,
days
the
plus.
Okay.
revocation though, because we actually just did one lake ironically, which is what kind of started the wheels turning.
Yeah.
That would be your 15-day notice to them. They then have 15 days appeals. And this is on the Ohio Revised Code, or I think it's ORC or OAC.
Yeah.
They have all those times to then correct what they did wrong. And then they could say, hey, I've corrected it, you don't need to revoke it, and it would turn the whole ship around.
Yeah.
But it's a 30-day process, more or less. By the time we're at that point, you'd be meeting anyways, even if it happened the day after a meeting.
Yeah.
And you still have to vote to revoke, as far as I'm aware.
And they're suspended, not operating during that time.
If we do that, yes,
Right.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
doggy bags out the back door, we've had it before, but.
And usually, I mean, in all reality, generally if Mr. Lark and I walk out there or drive out there and say, hey, you're at the the precipice of this, they turn it around. Usually it's like someone didn't pay their license fee and they're operating.
They
And
didn't
like,
wanna fix a refrigerator and cool it
Yeah.
down repeatedly, so.
Yeah.
it's-
usually, because Dan Lark and I have been out to a handful of these and we're just like, hey, like, you're at the point now, the board's gonna take action. And then, within a day, they're like, hey, I fixed it, come check again.
Yeah,
You come out, it's fixed.
Usually the threat of the health commissioner shutting them down is enough to move the rest of the
Yeah.
life.
We all need money. So, yeah.
So this is kind of just going in, I guess, in tandem with the last resolution.
Yes.
In the worst case.
It
of
starts
worst
that
case.
process
Right.
early and I would hope we never have to use it because the goal is not to be at this point with anybody.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
No, I move to approve resolution,
Yes.
number 2024-8.
And a second,
Second.
roll call?
All right, Ms. Brackey,
Yes.
Ms. Bodrum,
Yes.
Mr. Rude, Dr. Rude,
Yes.
Dr. Hendrickson.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to learn a new last name for you, it's two pretty soon, so.
It's true.
Oh, gosh.
Just wanna get one, should we change it
Hopefully
up?
it'll be easier to
That one's a
remember.
little
Alright.
easier, I think.
And that completes the new business?
Correct. The only new business is to congratulate Ms. Bodrin on her engagement that occurred.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's official new business right there,
Yep, new business.
So on to citizens' remarks.
yes.
This is limited to 20 minutes unless we agree to extend. 2 minutes per speaker to make comments, ask question. Board will answer questions after having an opportunity to investigate responses following the meeting. It's not a press conference, and board responses are recorded, publicly filed with meeting minutes.
Do we have anyone that would like to speak?
Any takers?
No? Nothing
No.
good, Howard? Got nothing for us?
As long as you don't bring Quaid back, we'll be fine.
I'm
It's the biggest mistake this people ever made here.
not aware of that occurring. I'm not saying it is written, I'm just not aware.
Both,
Tried to shut down all the Amish schools, because they have septic systems and wells on a little piece of property. It was his idea, he was gonna get rid of the schools.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, you're not aware of it, because we talked about it before, but he was aware of it,
Okay.
and he was up to no good on it too.
Hmm.
Let's hope it never happens again.
Well-
And this whole thing with Fauci and COVID-19 and stuff, we can't have that crap going on ever again either.
no pun intended.
Excuse me?
No pun intended, talking about septics. So noted, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, Richard.
I live, like Dr. Root, I live in South Russell, and I have my own well, and the county takes care of my wastewater.
All right.
Any
Yes.
other comments?
Another discussion?
So we'll move to executive session.
Executive session pending, to discuss pending litigation. And we will likely go upstairs to my office, because we're gonna have to meet up there in that large
Yeah.
conference room anyway, so we'll probably go up there. Because I don't think we're down here to meet, it's closed.
So-
Yeah, so no action will be taken after
So the agenda set, or the new business section says it's to discuss pending in litigation and personnel and compensation of public employees. Is it just pending in litigation?
Yeah, this wants to be just pending litigation, the other does not apply anymore.
Got it. All right, so you need a motion?
Yes.
All right. I move to enter executive session to discuss matters of pending litigation.
And a second,
Second.
roll call?
Ms. Brackey?
Yes.
Ms. Bowden?
Yes.
Dr. Rude?
Yes.
Dr. Hendrickson?
Yes.
All right, to my knowledge, there's been no action taken afterwards, so there should be nothing for either one of you unless you wanna stay around.
For
All
sport.
right,
Now to mental health, make sure they aren't screwed on it.
they're what, at 7 o'clock tonight?
5.
Oh,
Shooting, 6 o'clock in mental health.
6 o'clock, okay.
They're doing a good job.
Thank you, Howard, talk to you later, buddy.